Look, I wanted to make a somewhat objective retrospective on a game I played when I was a kid and how its age shows today. How it has little to offer in terms of enjoyment today compared to the buffet of fighting games we now have, and how they've improved so much in 30 years since this came out. But I didn't. And to be fair, I started this video right before I went in for surgery. I had my tonsils removed and a few other things to help with sleep apnea. I've been in 10 out of 10 pain for most of that week, and I've lost 20 pounds in that same time frame. It's been a wild couple of days, so I hope that explains both my voice and my nostalgia trip here. I want to be clear from the get-go, this game is not amazing. You shouldn't expect much from it, and you've probably never played it. I don't think that this will make you want to go out and play it, but if you do, you'll have a good time. What am I talking about? Well, over 30 years ago, when the Mortal Kombat franchise was still in its infancy, one of the versions they released was Mortal Kombat 2 for the original Game Boy. Now, you already know my love for this system, so imagine how cool it was when my parents were kind enough to get me this game for my birthday. My 10th birthday to be exact, though I don't know that a 10-year-old should have been playing it. Actually, a lot of parents felt that way. A lot of parents didn't seem to know what these games were about, even though it's right there in the name. And this series is directly responsible for the creation of the ESRB, but that's for another video. So like I said, let's be clear, by today's standards, there's nothing special about this game. There's 8 characters to choose from at the character select screen. Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, Kitana, Reptile, Shang Tsung, Mileena, Scorpion, and Jax. A total of 5 of these are really just palette swaps. Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Scorpion are all just grayscaled, slightly different versions of one another. This is true in the arcade and console versions too, but it's pretty egregious here. I will say that they at least try to make the faces slightly different. Mileena and Kitana are the same, their faces having some differences also. There are hidden characters, but I'm pretty sure I only ever fought Jade and Smoke, which are again just more palette swaps. Noob Saibot is only accessible with the link cable, which I didn't do back in the day. There's only 3 arenas, and while that's not a deal breaker, if you look at other fighting games like Street Fighter 2, they had much better backgrounds, albeit at the cost of frame rate. The one with the castle in the background looks like a kid tried to draw something out of Castlevania. There's also no blood or real gore to speak of. This cuts both ways. A lot of kids who played in the arcade were disappointed that it was missing, while parents who saw any video game violence were in a fit about it. There are decapitations, cannibalism, and bones left from a fried carcass, so it's not completely clean, but by today's standards, it's pretty tame. Those bones from a carcass, that's coming from Liu Kang's fatality. He turns into a dragon, and I use that term loosely, whereupon he fries his opponent with a fireball, and their skeletal remains burst apart. The dragon honestly looks like Mushu from Mulan. He's literally the same height as the other player. Speaking of height, holy shit, look how big Shao Kahn is compared to everyone else. He's huge. There's also the toasty head that pops up in the corner during uppercuts and takes you to fight Smoke. There's a decent amount of moves for each character, and Shang Tsung can transform into all the fighters, so that's pretty solid that they didn't skimp there. I will say, Liu Kang is pretty OP, so if you want to have fun, play as him. The Game Boy at this point was already 5 years old, and as we've seen throughout various console generations, after that much time on the market, developers have figured out how to squeeze most of the potential out of hardware, and boy did they. Just look at the presentation of this game, from the start screen to the character select screen. Of course, it's lacking in some places, but it really delivers for a fighting game from 1994. Is Mortal Kombat 2 on Game Boy a perfect game? No, but it's a prime example of what they were able to accomplish with such withered technology. Listen, we're blessed today with amazing games like Smash Bros., the Injustice series, Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6, the list goes on. But back in the day, we were very limited in what we had to choose from. If you were lucky enough to play this version back then, it was a blast, and honestly, it's still worth it today. I've shot most of my footage on my Retron SQ, but even on original hardware or on a Game Boy Advance, you'll have a good time. Also, I hope you appreciate the small sounds in the background because my small child is sitting next to me as I've been recording them. Let me know in the comments if you ever played this game, or what the earliest Mortal Kombat game you ever played was. Till next time.